there's this idea of the 100x engineer, and there shouldn't be the same idea for the 100x growth person or marketer. The gap between good and really good is massive. And the best marketers I know right now are taking the processes that they're running on a daily basis and automating as much of those processes as possible using Lovable and automation software like N8N. Today, I'm hosting my friend Sandra, who's going to share how she's doing this. She has these daily tasks that she used to be doing manually, both for blog content, for ad creative development, for analyzing competitors' ads. And what she's done is she's used this vibe coding tooling to go and automate a lot of the processes that she was doing manually previously. You're going to learn her stack, how she's making it work. And we're going to talk about how this is the first signal that companies are going to be able to market themselves in the future, where you're going to be able to plug into these AI marketing brains basically and have your company start to grow. And then your job as a founder is going to be just build great product. That's way off in the future, but there's very tactical applications that you can use today that are going to make a lot of impact on your business. And today's episode is brought to you by Habit SEO. Habit SEO specializes in SaaS SEO that makes signups. They find bottom of funnel keywords related to your brand, build out blog content related to those bottom of funnel keywords, optimize those articles so that they have call to actions to create signups, and then track the signups from those pages so you can see the ROI of this marketing activity. As these pages rank, they also start to show up with an AI search. So think Perplexity, ChatGPT, web search, and all the other ones. Go to habitseo.com to learn more or click the link in the description. All right, let's get started with today's show. Sandra, how's it going? It's so weird in the waiting room. I'm like, I don't, they need something else or like hype up music, you know, to get you to drop into it.
I don't know how to start. Like I actually said to you a second ago, I'm going to forget everything you said. And I think I actually forgot it.
It's all good. It's all good. We'll get to there.
I'm so stoked.
Well, I'm so stoked to have you. You, I feel like, are one of these people that's really living this idea of vibe marketing. I feel like it's going viral everywhere, and it's hilarious. Like this whole like ecosystem of vibe programming, the vibe marketing, etc. For the uninitiated, like how I view vibe marketing is like you have a cracked head of growth or some type of marketing individual, and they're taking, all these processes that used to be humans, and basically automating that with software that they're building or automation tools, and then adding some type of like, AI layer on top of it. Just for context for the audience too, you joined Chatbase, which it's an AI agent company now, right? Or is that kind of, okay, cool.
An AI agent for customer experience.
Amazing. So you joined there in November. We're recording this now in early April. How much have you guys grown since you've joined the company?
20% since the beginning of the year. So it's been really, really crazy. And that number is coming like a month ago. So probably now it's a little bit more.
Even more. Totally. Totally. So and then what's your guys' monthly revenue at currently?
So we have 450 MRR.
Crazy. Unreal. Yeah. And the company's bootstrapped, which is awesome. And I think
fully bootstrapped. It's been 2 years now since starting. So it's been a crazy, crazy journey, definitely.
I love it.
Yeah.
Amazing. So let's just jump into it. So I'd love to hear how you're kind of thinking about using all of this AI tooling to basically automate your job function and almost make, one person function like there are 100 people. Can we start with, you built this product, and that was kind of the initiation of this conversation, where it's straight up a dashboard that is helping you with ad creation. Can you just walk through kind of the origin of that, how are you using it, and like just to illustrate what this vibe marketing idea actually is?
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm dealing a lot with ads. Like we have running ads for Chatbase, and there's a lot of things that you have to take in account when you are dealing with or like running ads, from competitors to design to the story to copy, all of these things. But my workflow usually when I'm doing ads is like checking all the competitors. And when you're checking all the competitors, you need to use different platforms. They are pushing their ads. So it's either LinkedIn or Google, and so on. And then you have to jump on all of these different libraries of these applications. So I would do that. I would jump on all of these different libraries, like you have Google Ads, Transparency, and then LinkedIn library, and etc. And then I will search for the competitors. I would take a screenshots. Then I would put it in ChatGPT. Then I would try to analyze it. Then I would bring my own ads. And like, it's this whole thing that is happening. And then few months ago, not even like 2 months ago, probably, this idea of vibe coding started. And I was just waiting for my moment, to be honest. I was just waiting to send that tweet. Can we move from vibe coding to vibe marketing? Because I love the idea. You know what's the problem? Like in marketing, we don't have such a great tools. Like you have some tools, but they are very specific. Either you are dealing with SEO or you are dealing with ads but all of these are like different type of the tools. And I was like,
and
wait
they
a
never
minute.
accomplish the exact thing that you're looking for. I think this is the
Never,
contrast.
yeah.
Like a lot of the times, like in engineering departments, they're building their own tooling so that they can do their job more effectively.
Exactly.
But like when you're at a company, especially your guys' company, like engineering bandwidth is probably the most constrained resource that's in the organization. If a marketing person goes to Eng and is like, "Hey, I need this custom tool built," there's a close to a 0% chance it's actually going to happen.
No conversation.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not even starting.
Maybe someone will reply on my Slack message. Probably not. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it myself. So I pretty much like a bunch of people probably already know for Lovable. So I was like, okay, let me get this thing running. So I've used OpenAI, ChatGPT, of course, and just was like, I have this workflow. Can I automate somehow using Lovable and you, my friend, ChatGPT? And then I just got like step-by-step process on doing that, and it's done. Like in 4 hours, it was like done. So
And just to
what
give
I'm trying
context,
to
so what does the
say,
dashboard do, or what does that process look like?
so it's like it's super simple. So you write your competitor, and then it pulls or like it's so on Lovable there are these browser agents, so they can actually browse for the competitor depending of the libraries I want. So either it's LinkedIn or Google, or for me it was LinkedIn and Google, and then it does the same thing that I was doing. So it would take the screenshot, it would connect. So I was also using make.com for like the workflow. And it would do the same thing. It's just like much faster, pretty much. So I don't have to literally do it. Now, what I'm trying to do on the dashboard itself to get anytime the competitor push new ads, it refreshes itself. So I don't have to actually search it over and over again. So imagine how much time I'm saving, pretty much.
Totally.
It's like actually, you know what's the problem? Like once I send that tweet that I built this, like that I'm working on this, there was a bunch of people saying this could actually be a product.
Totally.
So,
I mean, I immediately saw it, and that's what first came to mind. Was like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, I want an ad library. That I mean, there are a ton of ad spy tools, but I don't think there's any of them that are like AI native that were built from the ground up.
Yeah, but even if you don't need it, or even if people don't need it, this is just my workflow. So it's very specifically tailored to my workflow. It just gives idea that you can literally build agents or like applications or whatever we're going to call them by your own workflow.
Totally. And I think that's the unlock, right?
Yeah.
For vibe marketing is like, I have this specific process. Like everybody has, their own SEO process, their own paid ads process, their own, whatever other type of content that they're creating. And this just allows for you to take that, and instead of hiring a team, you can now automate it. So go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's such a great timing to do this, because like you have all of these great products you can use. And like if for me, I'm building it for myself. So I'm not planning to push this AI Ninja. That's how it's called. It was generated. I have nothing to do with the name.
I'm going to screen share it too. Just the screenshot of the post that you did, just so people can get like context of what this looks like. Because I think it'll be valuable just to understand and see kind of
really
what the
nice,
UI is.
Actually.
No, it's amazing. And I think that this is like, again, where the opportunity is like you can build out this specific piece of software that traditionally no engineering team would go and like allocate bandwidth to, but creates massive impact for you and will create massive impact to the organization that previously,
For
like, I mean, this was
sure.
impossible.
For sure. Like, and this is just one workflow. And I have like 10 other things that I do, and I'm planning to build 10 other agents to do these things for me.
Amazing.
Because like I wrote somewhere, like I want to, every single outreach that I'm doing, I want to automate that. Like I'm doing a bunch of partnership stuff. I'm doing a bunch of press. Everything I want to automate. And now like I've seen a lot of people also commenting like, but that's so wrong. Like AI can do that. And it's like, yes, it can. Like it should do this boring stuff that I don't want to do, because then my job is only to tell like a story of the product that I am building or selling or whatever. So it's like, it's not that AI agents are doing our stuff. We are just like trying to kind of...
You're orchestrating them.
Exactly. And it's really simple. So that's like, this weekend when I started doing this, I felt so alive that it's like...
No, I feel the same. Okay, so like this is why I'm so excited to talk to you about this, is like, this is the first time in a while, like with, growth marketing, where I felt that same kind of excitement where it's like, oh, we figured out, like, here's this marketing arbitrage. Like one that we found recently that's super random is like, you do global Twitter targeting for ads. You put the max CPC at 1 cent. And then you drive that to YouTube videos, and like you can just game the YouTube algorithm with this. Is what we found.
Oh my God.
And so it's crazy, right? But like that excitement level, you find one of those arbitrages like very rarely.
Yes.
And I felt that same with like, like this tooling that we built. I just built a keyword to duplication software. Sounds so stupid. Huge pain. We do a lot of content where it's like S versus Y product, right?
Yeah.
And there's like all these long tail variations, and like it's just like a human had to do this previously. An AI wasn't good at it really, because it's not good at comparing huge data sets together. And so you ended up building this like software that uses this library called fuzzy match to duplication, and threw that together in literally 10 minutes and shipped it to my team. And they're like, oh my God, this just saved us, 5 hours of work this week, right?
Exactly.
And I feel this is
that's
the thing.
vibe marketing. That's like what it should be like. And I think also a lot of like, we don't currently have someone to look at like how they are doing, so we have to experiment and learn ourselves. And like I think everyone should do this. Like every like workflow you have, even if you don't have an idea of how to scope it, like AI is really good in scoping things. Like you can just explain your workflow, and then something will happen. It's like that simple. And I feel like people are scared of that. It's just not going to work. And they're 100% correct. It's like probably not going to work. But like we need to experiment more and more, because it's so exciting. Like as I said to you, like I'm planning to automate all of my workflows.
Exactly.
Like,
and that makes you so valuable to the company as well. Like if you're an employee listening to this, like you suddenly have leverage within the organization, because it's like, I have all these tools that I built for myself that like literally enable me to be, the best marketer in the world for this product. And if you like own the business, like you can just plug people in, or you're not even having to go and hire these teams. And like, that's what I'm realizing more and more is like, we don't even need to go and get the staff that we did previously. So you can bootstrap these companies that historically you'd have to raise for. You can, like run marketing organizations and put, content out, or have output that's at the same level as a 50-person team. And I actually think you can move faster. Like one very good growth marketer, like you as an example, like you can do more than a 100-person team at a Fortune 500 company.
Thank you, first of all. But it's very true in the sense that you can move things so much faster, or at least you're putting your brain on like different level of thinking. You're not trying to like, oh, I need to finish this today. You are trying to kind of optimize the whole month on like specific content that can be reused and reused and reused by the data and all of these stuff. Like, so there is so much potential with this. And I have to be honest with you, I like more vibe marketing than vibe coding.
Oh, 100%. Same. But I think that's
Yeah.
probably like who we are as people, right? It's like, okay, it's why
And
we
the
ended up in
question
these career
is,
choices.
are we becoming the vibe coders? So like, are
Probably.
we making this whole full circle? I don't know what's happening actually.
Probably. I mean, it's funny though, like I don't have any intention to like add user auth onto this. I think we're going to put it on a subdomain of like a company site just so that it's easy for them to find all the tools that are like we need. And like maybe it's just like all, it's like x.example.com, y.example.com. And that's where like each of the tools live and then the team.
Tool,
yeah. But I think it's, I don't know. I don't know if half of these will ever see the light of day. Who knows? But it's interesting to see, like, again, it feels like a total like game changer for anybody that's cracked on the marketing side. Like, there's so much more that you can do. And again, this is stuff that I wish we could have done previously, right? But it's just like engineering bandwidth didn't exist for it, and now this has enabled that or allowed that. I want to drill down on this idea of like the process definition of your marketing is the most important part of this. When I used to do consulting for a living for like early stage companies, this was like the first thing that we would try to help them define is like, hey, like what are the processes and the outcomes that you're expecting? And then how do we then, build these systems around that? And I think for a lot of, especially first-time founders, they don't think about marketing as like an activity. Like they think about it as a campaign where it's like it starts and it stops, right? And like that's why they always gravitate towards like, yeah, we're gaming Reddit right now. I'm like, cool, it's cute, man. Like, great, it might get you some of your first customers, but like the most impactful thing that you can do is have like a system and process that is running indefinitely into the future. And so I want to just talk through kind of your like, how do you define a process? How do you think about like what channels you should be on and then building the processes around that and then taking that to this next level where it's like, okay, now I built custom software that enables me to do that process more effectively. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah. So for me, like there's going to be always this traditional marketing. Whatever we do, the traditional marketing kind of stays there. So you will always have to have a right setup. For currently for Chatbase, what we are doing, we have SEO that works really good and we see the numbers. We have ads, as I said. We do a lot of stuff with influencers. So there are different strategies that we have, but the setup has been there and we've tested and we know that it's running good. Now we can implement different things like these AI agents to improve the work, to make it faster, to push more content and etc. So, but for the early stage, so it's a little bit different when talking about Chatbase because it has the right setup and I have right now a right equipment to even do these AI agents because at a certain point, you need data that is coming from your own product in order to compare it to something to get these right results to run it, like the ads that I'm talking about. So that's one thing. But another thing that I think it's super important is this personal brand that you are growing as a founder. And for that, you need to choose one channel that you feel comfortable. Either it's like LinkedIn, and I hope it's not, but I hope actually it is because you're going to get more leads there, or Twitter or X. So you need to choose the platform you feel comfortable to build your personal brand. And I've seen one of your videos. You were talking about this media stuff, and I think you are 100% right. Like we are in the age where the technology is like growing super fast and you will probably figure out different products and different ways to approach technology. And there's going to be also different problems than it's today. But one thing that stays, it's like your own personal brand. So talking about like, I don't even remember your question. So I just went deep into marketing, but like having a perfect setup. Like at the beginning, you should definitely concentrate on one channel and do that one channel in depth. And you need to squeeze everything from that in order to move to the second channel and work on them simultaneously. I hate English.
Simultaneously, yeah. I want to interject there and piggyback off of this. So it's the validation of the channel is the most important part of this. Like you shouldn't even be thinking about vibe marketing that channel
No,
until you've validated, hey, I can actually get customers from here, right?
absolutely.
Once you've done that, then it's okay. Now I vibe market that channel. I automate as much of it as I can, delegate
Absolutely.
the rest, and then I move on to the next channel that I try to uncover or test 3 different other channels, see which one has the most potential, and then
Yeah.
that's when you go in on all in on channel 2, vibe
Yeah,
market on channel 2, etc.
absolutely. Full on. Like it's super important. Maybe this is very like old school, but for me, and I'm talking about like SaaS, B2B softwares, it's super important at the early stage to have this initial contact with the people that have this problem and the solution you're building for. So it's like this whole conversation is important. It's important for later on when you do build customer support team and etc. You need or sales or even marketing. Like you are the center of attention, and we are, as you are a founder, we are others squeezing the information from you to be able to like spread the message. But like to validate that first channel is super important, and I think you can do that with the conversation. If the right people are there, you can probably validate that. But you need to squeeze everything from that. You can implement into that channels different marketing strategies like, am I reaching to these people directly in DMs? Am I doing ads and targeting them? And am I doing some influencer campaign to target them, but in that one channel? So, and then of course later on you can scale, as you said. But what I think we are doing at Chatbase, and Yasser is really, really good in this, is building the story around yourself, and building that branding, and building trust as well. I think that's going to stick forever. Everything else is experimenting and like squeezing whatever you can from that, whichever channel you're using.
Totally. That defensibility is the media channels that you own. I think there's not much defensibility left, or differentiation. Like you can spin out product features that are exact clones of your competitors in hours. I'm literally watching engineering teams do that. I think from my angle, like there's only 2 things that I'm seeing being really hard to dislodge from brands or take away from brands is their branded search and the owned media channels that they have distribution through.
Yes.
Those owned media channels are their email newsletters, their social profiles, the founder's social profiles, the founder's personal email newsletters. And then the branded search, I think, is actually the thing that like we're obsessing with more and more as like the only thing that I really care about is and a lot of the influencer marketing, like that's really the goal is like, I'm just trying to get more surface area for the brand within the category that we're in so that we get more branded search. I don't really care about showing up for the category.
Saying.
What's
I
up?
love
yeah.
It's really true. And all of these like AI things, agents and whatever are allowing us actually to do that.
Yes, exactly. Where it's like historically, if I needed wanted to create a media arm of the company, I would have to go hire, 10 people to do the editing, to do the sound engineering, to do all of these things. And it's like in contrast now, like I can have one person that's doing all of our video editing and they're, supplemented with all of this AI tooling behind them. And suddenly they're functioning like, a team of 20 people, right? And
I'll tell you a story that happened to me last week. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is
please.
Subject. I hope people listening to this get inspired and like open their laptops and do crazy stuff. But last week, so we have a design agency that works for us. Brilliant people. But I have like 50 plus blog articles I need visuals for. They are brilliant, fast, creative, but they cannot work that fast because there are other things. And this has been in my backlog forever. So when I say forever, I mean from November.
That's a lifetime in our world, though.
So I was like, I'm going to just like the ChatGPT 4.0, like it was last week when people starting doing crazy stuff with the images and visuals. And I was like, okay, let me just put all the branding stuff there from Chatbase and let me see if I'm able to create similar stuff to what we have seen before or shared on the socials. And now it's not only about like the branding itself, the colors, but we also have partners and their logos and their stories. Will it be able to kind of like implement that whole view? And it did the job. It did
And
the
that
job. Like
totally.
so it means that when we are talking about the brand, you are pushing this image of your company, and everything needs to be perfect and nice. And in the bootstrap world, you kind of don't have time for that, unfortunately. You have to keep going because you have to make money and you have to run stuff and all of these things. But now with this like technology, you have time to put these small details that do matter for like an enterprise company. If it lands on your like website, it would be nice that the blog is nice.
Could you expand on how you're making the images? And then I'd love to come back to as well. You talked about Lovable and how you're using their like scraping agent. Just like the specific details of how those things are working. I think would be super. I know my audience would be super excited to hear that. So
I'm going into my LinkedIn because I actually shared the visuals that it made, and I compared it. I need to share my screen. Just a second. These are Chatbase colors and the branding, but this is not like this is what was created. There was a bunch of other stuff, but this is not me trying the first time to do this vibe marketing and to speed up stuff. Like a month ago or something, this was what ChatGPT was able to create for me.
It's terrible. And just
It's
for people who are
terrible.
only listening, the image that she showed initially is like almost like a cloud like
With
background
our
that
brand colors.
with like their brand colors and basically an overlay on top of that white overlay that frames text. It looks gorgeous. It is definitely on brand, and then it's just basically like quotes on top of it. In contrast, the other the other image is like I don't even. You're just gonna have to honestly probably go watch this on the YouTube, but the text is all messed up. It looks like it was written on like a piece of printer paper, and there's like half of a car and a horse. That is like
So bad.
it's terrible. It's
So
terrible.
bad.
Yep.
So, what I'm trying to show you with this is like, this was a month ago. Like, these things move fast, and we really need to jump and learn how to use them properly and how to position them into our workflows, because it will like, it's not going to replace any marketer or developer probably, but it's going to make us brilliant. Like, if you are able to like do a bunch of stuff with your company branding, with your storytelling, with pushing more content, with being out there and everywhere, like on the top of the layer, um, it's already doing the job. So, like for me, those ads you mentioned at the beginning, I'm not technical at all. I'm not a developer. I've been in like this community for a while now, and I've always loved and respect what developers do. And I've been known as a marketer person that just says that marketing is simple and everyone are annoyed by me. Sorry. But like, I was like, I have, when I started doing this, like I have simple understanding of what HTML is and what's the point of CSS. It's like the styling and coloring. And this is like to see some stuff on the website. That's my knowledge.
Totally.
So, and in 4 hours, I was able to build my workflow. I have no idea like
How it functions or
how
like
it
what it
functions.
does.
Like I knew what I want and I knew how am I working. And I just wanted a solution based on that. And that's it. Like,
No, 100%.
like this running how did you say, scraping?
Yeah,
That's
scraping.
an interesting thing that everyone were asking about. And I was like, I'm sorry, my developer, which is ChatGPT plus Lovable, said that was the best option because I was screenshotting stuff. And that makes sense. So it's like that
Unbelievable.
type of the so yeah. So and then someone asked me in like the comments, do you want to make it as a product because it should be a product? And I'm like, I don't even know how to push it to you guys. I know how
Yeah.
to, I can use it. I don't know what to do if I push it to you. Like,
And I think that this is like, again, the magic that's right now. And this is actually what like vibe coding is
yeah,
I don't care how it's happening. Like I care
yeah,
that it's getting done. Like I care about the
yeah,
outcome that's coming from that thing. And I think this is the contrast of like, old way of thinking and new way of thinking. Like it's less about the process. It's more just about the outcome, the output that
yeah,
occurs. So,
yeah.
and like, that's not to say that brand doesn't matter and all these traditional aspects. Like, of course, things that look prettier sell better. Like, of course, that's never going to change. But
Yeah.
I think that the thing that I'm realizing more and more with all this is like, and even the engineers that I'm talking to that are vibe coding, they're like, we don't care how the code is really written more and more.
Mm.
I just care that it's doing the thing that I'm expecting it to do. And for
Yeah.
marketers, it's the same thing. It's creating the
Yeah.
impact. It's creating the growth impact that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So
I think we still need to in the sense, we still need to be responsible what we are sending to the world or the message. But I think we have that responsibility, or it's at least known in our head. But it's so good. It's
no,
so
100%.
It's
100%. So before this, we were talking about, or before we started recording, we were talking about LinkedIn and how you're pretty prolific on Twitter, but you recently have moved over to LinkedIn to try to basically grow your audience there as well. Love to hear. I imagine this is probably going to be one of the things that you go and automate next, or like vibe market next.
Actually, I'm a little bit scared to automate anything on LinkedIn because they are very, very scary people sitting
really
behind
weird. Yeah, totally.
trying to catch you.
But what is the arbitrage, or like what have you seen working there? I feel like the meta for LinkedIn has been changing really dramatically lately. And I'm curious to learn. I mean, for example, like video was absolutely ripping 6 months ago. It's now getting no views on the platform. They're not optimizing for it whatsoever. What we're seeing work right now is written text with like some type of graphic that has the exact same hook that's on the written text. So it like takes up the whole screen of the user as they're scrolling. But I'm curious to learn what you're seeing work, and then how you would think about like, how do I automate as much of this as I can to make it even to do this at a larger scale?
Yeah, so I want to share with you something.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, again, for people who are listening, pretty flat graph in the last 2 weeks. Her daily impressions has skyrocketed to 50,000 on average daily. And so please, I'd love to learn what you're seeing work.
So I have no idea. Just kidding. So I've started LinkedIn I think January, February, somewhere around that time. And my goal was to grow on LinkedIn. That was my, I want to grow on LinkedIn. I don't know how. And then I knew that I cannot talk about the things that I don't know. So that was quite clear. So all the super successful storytelling, living on the beach, hot Bali or something, that was not my story for sure. So, but I kind of had a knowledge about startup world, and now Chatbase as a bootstrap company. So I was able to kind of compare these two things. And then I pushed so many LinkedIn posts, none of them worked. So I was like, okay, this is bullshit platform. I'm just gonna quit. But then I started to follow people that actually made sense for me on LinkedIn, that it wasn't just this, there was some kind of story I could learn from. So I put a bunch of people in a Google Sheet that I really like. And then I use an extension that is super simple extension. It just goes on their profile and it kind of finds the tweets or sorts the tweets.
What are you using? Are you using Phantom Buster or?
The name is Cleo.
Say it again.
Cleo.
Okay, cool. We'll include it in the show notes.
Yeah. It doesn't do much except it sorts their posts by most liked ones or engaged one or comment one and etc. And then you can kind of see the first lines of those LinkedIn posts. And then when you go deeper and deeper and you analyze more and more of these stuff, you will find a pattern that usually has a big number in the first line, but it's always backed with a good story. So you cannot use it or abuse it in hopes it's going to work, because it's not going to do that. So every time you do something like that, there needs to be a proper story and a lesson that's been learned. So that's me. That's how. So I was just like, okay, I'm going to do that. I was in a VC-backed startup that raised this amount of money. Now I'm in a bootstrap company. This is what we are doing in marketing. And I just write stuff down. And it's getting attention. It's like growing nicely. And then the also vibe marketing played also nice role last week. And this week again. So there are stuff that you can follow that are currently trending, but it needs to be in your niche. So you have some knowledge and experience to share it with the world. And then you need to combine that with a really good headline, or they are calling it a hook that has a big number. That's a perfect LinkedIn post.
So big hook to start with. And then some type of topical thing that's happening, whether it's like news or something that people are talking about. I feel like this classic of like, do you even need to raise anymore? Is probably that conversation that you're having, or like part of the content. So attaching onto that and then sharing that knowledge or sharing that story. People talk about the storytelling piece all the time. I was like, this is like the way to do this properly on LinkedIn. Could you double click on that and just talk deeper about like that storytelling component? Like, is it the classic, like you start with a problem and then you like share how you figured it out and here's the solution where I ended up, like, you know, kind of that hero's journey, or what does that look like? How do you think about it?
I mean,
or does this just come naturally to you and there's no way that people are going to figure this out?
I built my following on X by being just myself. So it means like, if I've learned something, or I did some kind of experiment, or I did some kind of campaign and it worked, I just share it. It's like step-by-step process. I did this. And I think people like that. So there is not, I don't know, can we say bullshitting on this podcast?
Absolutely. You can say whatever you want. So we have no sponsors and we have no desire we have no master. We have to.
So there is no bullshitting. Like there is not like this nice package, because this is not easy what we do. Like this whole, like even building a product or doing marketing, it's difficult. And even when something is successful, it usually took like many failures before to get there. So that's kind of like my way of telling a story. So, hey, I did this, I got this numbers, this was the process, but I also like failed a bunch of times before to get there. And it's your like path to do the same thing, or try to do this thing that I did, if it works, if it doesn't work. I do that kind of similar with LinkedIn, except that freaking hook.
Mm-hmm. The hook is the difference. You were telling me how it's like you had the same post on Twitter, same post on LinkedIn, almost exactly, or same concept, same idea, but written differently.
It's actually same. It's just the hook is different.
Only the hook is different on each of them.
Only the hook is different. Yeah.
I mean, you could apply this probably to every channel. So like if you're running paid ads or you're doing organic on YouTube, it's the same core like content, but just like different hook structure that's basically optimizing itself for the algorithm of that channel that you're trying to market on.
And then you can give an agent to figure out like what's trending at the moment and what hooks are working and thumbnails and all of this stuff. Like it's so cool.
Totally. I mean, it moves so quickly now. We've been experimenting with basically using ChatGPT for the thumbnail generation for the YouTube videos, and it's so good. It's ridiculous actually how good it is. We used to pay a thumbnail editor like it was super good. Like they outperformed all the stuff that we did internally, but we'd pay them like $170 per thumbnail.
Yeah.
And now we can get that same quality generation for, basically a ChatGPT subscription. It's just ridiculous. So
it's really good. But bear in mind, so we don't get haters. I've posted something similar last week about generating these ads visuals. And I got a comment from a person working in design agency being like, don't do that. No, Sandra. And I'm like, I totally get you. But if I was on your place, I would use this to build like my own personal branding full on.
100%. And also it's like, of course you're going to use this.
From there.
Like, again, you have a designer that is on your, like the design resources are going to be allocated towards the product, not towards marketing.
Yes.
Product is always going to win on design resource allocation. So of course you're going to use this because you don't have any other resources. But like, it's so funny to me watching designers be like, oh my God, like we're like, they're having just like this panic attack right now, I feel like. And in contrast, if they just leaned heavily into this and like understood how do I, do this better than anybody else that's like a novice that jumps into this application, like that's actually how they insulate themselves from being replaced rather than trying to force people to continue to do it the old way. Like, I don't even know what I'll use Figma for anymore. Like I had this epiphany over the weekend. Like I had the ChatGPT make a graphic. I needed an SVG in a specific style. And I had to generate the graphic black, object on a white background. I took that, I removed the white background, upscale, vectorized that using an AI tool. And suddenly I have the SVG and it's perfect. Like it's literally better than anything else that I could do.
I've done the same thing.
It's unbelievable.
And yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I've done the same thing. I'm doing this also now. AI tools you need to use, what I've tried, blah, blah, blah. I'm putting them on one like design and things like that. It can create this stuff in like a minute, like 2 minutes. And then if you have a proper prompt that goes with it, you're going to get a really good design. And usually for me, as a marketing person in a marketing team that, it's not easy to get designs. So this makes your job easy. Like I can push so much content out there. Like even with these generated designs, I could reach out to influencers as well to make them push that. So like
100%. 100%.
Oh, good.
It's amazing. I know we just came up on time, so I just want to make sure that we give you a platform. Where can people reach out to you if they want to chat with you? And we have to have you back on to continue to have you kind of like share these like workflows that you're making. Because I think, again, this is I'm like literally writing a post about this right now, but like everybody is talking about vibe marketing and nobody's actually doing it. They're all just like basically piggybacking on this. And like you ask people, what does this actually mean? Like, and nobody can actually answer that because it's all just like very, I would call them like entry-level marketers that are riding this wave or like any of the influencers. This is like kind of, I feel like the first like actual concrete versions of this, like illustrated and shown.
People wants to understand it's like open ChatGPT, write what you do daily and ask it if you can automate somehow. Can you build your own workflow from it? That's about it.
100%. And then build that workflow.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you. I'm embarrassed.
No. Please interrupt.
But next time I'm coming to the show when I build every single workflow I have. And then we're going to go into analytics and measure the impact.
I love it. It's perfect. I think it's great. And then just talk through that. Here's these 9 things that we've automated. And all I do is sit on top of them and just orchestrate their work.
Yes.
So
Yes.
unbelievable. Amazing. If people want to reach out to you, where's the best place to find you?
I'm on X all the time. I write a bunch of stuff. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. Like, retweet, do whatever you want. Also LinkedIn. And if you are searching for AI agents in customer support, you can check Chatbase.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sandra, for coming on. It's been amazing hosting you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a wonderful conversation.
Absolutely.